if you're going to cut that much money, you're going to the Pentagon and you're going to Social Security and Medicare. And those are things, at least in terms of the entitlements, that Donald Trump right, you like those programs. Yep. I love having an audience.
Even Fox News audiences boo when they hear Republicans are coming for their Social Security and Medicare without the normal spin that hides the fact that Republican legislators are telling them the same thing.
Nothing is sacrosanct. Nothing. They're going to put everything on the table.
That's what they told lawmakers. Everything is on the table, and that includes Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
Rich and connected guy Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy smiled and waved at people as they strolled to the Capitol to meet with lawmakers about finally fulfilling the party's goal of taking even more money away from taxpayers to help pay for all the money that they've been taking from us for decades. So it wasn't very hard to convince them to go all in.
Is that they could cut. John Thune, who is the Senate incoming Republican leader, who also met with Elon Musk this morning, told me that perhaps mandatory programs are areas that they're looking to make cuts in, like Social Security, for example.
In reality, the only thing that's changed in the GOP's plan to go after these programs is that Trump's win has allowed them to finally stop lying about the fact that they've wanted to eliminate these programs for years, knowing it wouldn't go over well with the people that would be harmed by it. Senator Mike Lee was caught on video years ago, strongly advocating to do it, but no one would listen.
It will be my objective to phase out Social Security,
nice.
To pull it up by the roots and get rid of it.
Here, here, buddy.
People who advise me politically always tell me that's dangerous, and I tell them, in that case, it's not worth my running. That's why I'm doing this, to get rid of that. Medicare and Medicaid are of the same sort and need to be pulled up.
Now, if you pay attention, the approach used to be in complete denial, while then trying to figure out ways to do it anyway, ensuring rich donors that they're working diligently on it. Then, when the party figured they had enough supporters willing to openly accept being taken advantage of, it morphed into very thinly veiled language about cutting these programs, with language like spending reform and tough conversations that simply mean all the people that rely on programs they've paid into will suffer, but their suffering will be worth it.
To meet our defense needs, Congress has to work to grow our economy and significantly reduce our overall spending. And I can promise you that come 2025, spending reform will be a top priority for our new Republican majority. And they're not going to be easy conversations, but they're essential for our long-term survival. Congress has to prioritize the truly essential needs of our nation, and our national security has to be at the top of that list.
National security has to be at the top of the list, they say. And despite the fact that it's already well funded to the tune of over $800 billion, programs that benefit the lives of regular Americans are no longer on that list. But if anyone points these promises out, they're labeled as being weak on security or being wasteful, despite the trillions of dollars of wasteful spending through the military that Mike Johnson says we need to prioritize, as if we don't already. Here's Representative Richard McCormick using similar language about tough decisions. That means you regular Americans are going to have to suffer while the rich and connected get paid.
The problem with the Democrats is they've never run out of things that they can give away for free, quote unquote. When you talk about $1 trillion in debt payment just on interest alone every year, we can't just talk about the military, though. And the military can do some things better. We can save some money just in the way of contract. We can be careful that we don't decrease our abilities because China is right on our heels. However, if you talk about 75% of the budget, 75% is non-discretionary. We're going to have some hard decisions. We got to bring the Democrats in and talk about Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. There's hundreds of billions of dollars to be saved, and we know how to do it. We just have to have the stomach to actually take those challenges on. But we can't just talk about our discretionary budget. That's less than 25% of our budget. We have to have some real hard discussions.
You guys notice we never hear about billionaires and corporations having to have hard discussions about no longer receiving government handouts and tax cuts in order to help defend the nation against threats? You know, they never talk about calling in their donors to have the stomach to fairly contribute to the society that they keep siphoning funds from. They just employ a very predatory billionaire to somehow convince regular people that he suddenly has their best interests in mind when lobbying people like Representative McCormick and John Thune to cut the programs that the non-wealthy enjoy.
We have to reduce spending to live within our means. That necessarily involves some temporary hardship, but it will ensure long-term prosperity.
Why doesn't Elon Musk propose some temporary hardships for himself for the country's future prosperity? Does anyone think that he'll be suffering during this undisclosed amount of time that we're supposed to be going through financial hardships? I guess it's the price MAGA supporters are willing to pay for the empty promise of owning the libs. And now that rich guys like Vivek Ramaswamy, RFK Jr., Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and a vast majority of this cabinet that he's assembling, full of hedge fund guys and CEOs, now that they're laughing about how easy it's been to convince MAGA that they suddenly give a damn about anything else but their millions, it's game on.
Let's talk about government reform.
Yeah.
So
a big one.
Looks like Elon is going to be on the cabinet and
Yeah.
will be in the charge on the government efficiency department,
Yep.
if that's what you call it.
Yep.
How do you see, have you spoken with him about the plan, how he's going to do it?
Well, I've spoken, you mean with the president or with Elon?
With Elon.
Okay, yeah, with Elon. So I've spoken with Elon a little bit about it. And, I think that the way that this is envisioned is you set up you set up an organization with very smart people from the private sector and a few smart people from government, and you go in and you say, how are we going to fix all the broken inefficiencies? And the thing that's complicated about this, man, is it's going to look much different in, say, the Department of Defense versus Social Security, right?